My name is Karen Matthews, and I am representing Weyburn Free Methodist Church. Today's reading is from Joshua chapters 10 to 13, and I will be reading from the Amplified Version of the Bible. When Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, doing to Jericho and its king as he had done to Ai and its king, and how the residents of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them. He feared greatly because Gibeon was a great city, like one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all its men were mighty. So Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, sent to Hoham, king of Hebron, to the Puram, king of Jarmuth, to Japhia, king of Lachish, and to Debir, king of Eglon, saying, "Come up to me and help me, and let us smite Gibeon, for it has made peace with Joshua and with the Israelites." Then the 5 kings of the Amorites, the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon, gathered their forces and went up with all their armies and encamped before Gibeon to fight against it. And the men of Gibeon sent to Joshua at the camp in Gilgal, saying, "Do not relax your hand from your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us and help us, for all the kings of the Amorites who dwell in the hill country are gathered against us." So Joshua went up from Gilgal, he and all the warriors with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And the Lord said to Joshua, "Do not fear them, for I have given them into your hand. There shall not a man of them stand before you." So Joshua came upon them suddenly, having gone up from Gilgal all night. And the Lord caused the enemies to panic before Israel, who slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goes up to Beth-horon, and smote them as far as Azekah and Makkedah. As they fled before Israel, while they were descending the pass to Beth-horon, the Lord cast great stones from the heavens on them, as far as Azekah, killing them. More died because of the hailstones than the Israelites slew with the sword. Then Joshua spoke to the Lord on the day when the Lord gave the Amorites over to the Israelites, and he said in sight of Israel, "Sun, be silent, and stand still at Gibeon, and you, moon, in the valley of Ajalon." And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed until the nation took vengeance upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of the heavens and did not hasten to go down for about a whole day. There was no day like it before or since, when the Lord heeded the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel. Then Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to the camp of Gilgal. Those 5 kings fled and hid themselves in the cave of Makkedah. And it was told Joshua, "The 5 kings are hidden in the cave at Makkedah." Joshua said, "Roll great stones to the cave's mouth and set men to guard them. But do not stay. Pursue your enemies and fall upon their rear. Do not allow them to enter their cities, for the Lord your God has given them into your hand." When Joshua and the Israelites had ended slaying them until they were wiped out, and the remnant remaining of them had entered into fortified cities, all the people returned to the camp to Joshua at Makkedah in peace. None moved his tongue against any of the Israelites. Then said Joshua, "Open the mouth of the cave and bring out those 5 kings to me from the cave." They brought the 5 kings out of the cave to him, the kings of Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Eglon. When they brought out those kings to Joshua, he called for all the Israelites and told the commanders of the men of war who went with him, "Come, put your feet on the necks of these kings." And they came and put their feet on the kings' necks. Joshua said to them, "Fear not, nor be dismayed. Be strong and of good courage, for thus shall the Lord do to all your enemies against whom you fight." Afterward, Joshua smote and slew them and hanged their bodies on 5 trees, and they hung on the trees until evening. At sunset, Joshua ordered, and they took the bodies down from the trees and cast them into the cave where the kings had hidden, and laid great stones on the cave's mouths, which remain to this very day. Joshua took Makkedah that day and smote it and its king with the sword, and utterly destroyed everyone in it. He left none remaining, and he did to the king of Makkedah as he had done to the king of Jericho. Then Joshua and all Israel went from Makkedah to Libnah and attacked Libnah. And the Lord gave it also and its king into Israel's hands, and Joshua smote it with the sword and all the people in it. He left none remaining in it, and he did to its king as he had done to the king of Jericho. And Joshua passed from Libnah and all Israel with him to Lachish, and encamped against it and attacked it. And the Lord delivered Lachish into the hands of Israel, and Joshua took it on the 2nd day and smote it with the sword and all the people in it as he had done to Libnah. Then Horam, king of Gezer, came up to help Lachish, and Joshua smote him and his people until he had left none remaining. From Lachish, Joshua and all Israel went on to Eglon, laid siege to it, and attacked it. And they took it that day and smote it with the sword, and utterly destroyed all who were in it that day, as he had done to Lachish. Then Joshua with all Israel went up from Eglon to Hebron, and they attacked it, and took it and smote it with the sword, and its king and all its towns and everyone in it. He left none remaining as he had done to Eglon, and utterly destroyed it and all its people. And Joshua and all Israel with him returned to Debir and attacked it. And he took it with its king and all its towns, and they smote them with the sword and utterly destroyed everyone in it. He left none remaining as he had done to Hebron and to Libnah and its king. So he did to Debir and its king. So Joshua smote all the land, the hill country, the south, the lowland, and the slopes, and all their kings. He left none remaining, but utterly destroyed all that breathed, as the Lord, the God of Israel, commanded. And Joshua smote them from Kadesh Barnea even to Gaza, and all the country of Goshen, even to Gibeon. Joshua took all these kings and their land at one time, because the Lord, the God of Israel, fought for Israel. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to the camp of Gilgal. When Jabin, king of Hazar, heard of this, he sent to Joab, king of Madon, and to the kings of Shemron and Akshaph, and to the kings who were in the north in the hill country, and in Abra south of Chinnoth, and in the lowland, and in the heights of Dor on the west. To the Canaanites in the east and west, to the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites in the hill country, and to the Hivites below Mount Hermon, to the land of Mizpah. And they went out with all their hosts, much people, like the sand on the seashore in number, with very many horses and chariots. And all these kings met and came and encamped together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. But the Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid because of them, for tomorrow by this time I will give them up all slain to Israel. You shall hamstring their horses and burn their chariots with fire." So Joshua and all the people of war with him came against them suddenly by the waters of Merom and fell upon them. And the Lord gave them into the hand of Israel, who smote them and chased them toward populous Sidon and the Mesrophoth Mem, and eastward as far as the valley of Mizpah. They smote them until none remained. And Joshua did to them as the Lord had commanded him. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots with fire. And Joshua at that time turned back and took Hazor and smote its king with the sword, for Hazor previously was the head of all those kingdoms. They smote all the people in it with the sword, utterly destroying them. None were left alive, and he burned Hazor with fire. And Joshua took all the cities of those kings and all the kings and smote them with the sword, utterly destroying them as Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded. But Israel burned none of the cities that stood fortified on their mounds except Hazor only, which Joshua burned. And all the spoil of these cities and the livestock the Israelites took for their booty. But every man they smote with the sword until they had destroyed them, and they left none who breathed. As the Lord had commanded Moses his servant, so Moses commanded Joshua, and so Joshua did. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord commanded Moses. So Joshua took all that land, the hill country, all the south, all the land of Goshen, and the lowland, the Arabah plain, the hill country of Israel, and its lowland. From Mount Halak, which rises toward Seir, as far as Belgad in the valley of Lebanon below Mount Hermon, he captured all their kings and slew them. Joshua had waged war a long time, at least 5 years, with all those kings. Not a city made peace with the Israelites except for the Hivites, the people of Gibeon. All the others they took in battle. For it was of the Lord to harden their hearts that they should come against Israel in battle, that Israel might destroy them utterly, and that without favor and mercy, as the Lord commanded Moses. Joshua came at that time and cut off the Anakim, large in stature, from the hill country, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the hill country of Judah and the hill country of Israel. Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. None of the Anakim were left in the land of the Israelites. Only in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod of Philistia did some remain. So Joshua took the whole land according to all that the Lord had spoken to Moses, and Joshua gave it for an inheritance to Israel according to their allotments by tribe. And the land had rest from war. Now these are the kings of the land whom the Israelites defeated, and whose land they took possession of east of the Jordan, from the river Arnon to Mount Hermon and all the Arabah eastward. Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon and ruled from Ar on the edge of the valley of the river of Arnon, and the middle of the valley as far as the river Jabbok, and the boundary of the Ammonites, including half of Gilead. And the Arabah to the sea of Chinneroth eastward, and in the direction of Beth Shemoth to the sea of the Arabah, the salt or Dead Sea, southward to the foot of the slopes of Pisgah. And Og, king of Bashan, one of the remnant of the Rephaim, who lived at Ashtaroth and at Edrei, and ruled over Mount Hermon and Silkah and all of Bashan to the boundary of the Geshurites and the Mathrites, and over half of Gilead to the boundary of Sihon, king of Heshbon. These Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the Israelites defeated, and Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave their land for a possession to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. These are the kings of the land whom Joshua and the Israelites defeated on the west side of the Jordan, from Belgad in the valley of the Lebanon to Mount Halak, which rises towards Seir. Joshua gave their land to the tribes of Israel for a possession according to their allotments. In the hill country, in the lowland, in the Arabah, on the slopes, in the wilderness, and in the Negev, the lands of the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. The king of Jericho, 1. The king of Ai, which is beside Bethel, 1. The king of Jerusalem, 1. The king of Hebron, 1. The king of Jarmuth, 1. The king of Lachish, 1. The king of Eglon, 1. The king of Gezer, 1. The king of Debir, 1. The king of Geder, 1. The king of Hormah, 1. The king of Arad, 1. The king of Lebna, 1. The king of Adullam, 1. The king of Makkedah, 1. The king of Bethel, 1. The king of Tappuah, 1. The king of Hepher, 1. The king of Aphek, 1. The king of Lashrona, 1. The king of Madon, 1. The king of Hazor, 1. The king of Shimron-Meron, 1. The king of Arkshaph, 1. The king of Tanakh, 1. The king of Megiddo, 1. The king of Gadesh, 1. The king of Jorknim in Carmel, 1. The king of Dor in the heights of Dor, 1. The king of Goim in Gilgal, 1. The king of Zerah, 1. And all 31 kings. Now Joshua was old and gone far in years, over 100. And the Lord said to him, "You have grown old and are gone far in years, and very much of the land still remains to be possessed. This is the land that remains, all the regions of the Philistines and those of the Geshurites. From Sihor River, which is east of Egypt, northward to the boundary of Erkon, all of it counted as Canaanite. There are 5 rulers of the Philistines, those of Gaza, Ashdod, Askelon, Gath, Ekron, and those of the Avites. In the south, all the land of the Canaanites and Murah, which belonged to the Sidonians, to Aphek, to the boundary of the Amorites, and the land of the Gibeonites, and all Lebanon toward the east, from Belgad below Mount Hermon to the gate of Hamath. As for all the inhabitants of the hill country from Lebanon to Mesrephoth-Maim, even all the Sidonians, I will myself drive them out from before the Israelites, only allot the land to Israel for an inheritance as I have commanded you. So now divide this land for an inheritance to the 9 tribes and the half-tribe of Manasseh. With the other half-tribe of Manasseh, the Reubenites and the Gadites received their inheritance beyond the Jordan eastward, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them. From Arrow on the edge of the valley of the river Arnon, and the city in the midst of the valley, and all the tableland of Medeba as far as Dibon, and all the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon as far as the boundary of the Ammonites, and Gilead, and the region of the Geshurites and Maccathrites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan to Salcah. All the kingdom of Og and Bashan, who reigned in Ashtaroth and Edrei, and alone was left of the Rephaim giants, for these Moses had defeated and driven out. Yet the Israelites did not drive out the Geshurites or the Machathrites, but Geshur and Machrath dwell among them still. Only to the tribe of Levi Moses gave no inheritance. The sacrifices made by fire to the Lord, the God of Israel, are their inheritance, as he said to them. And Moses gave an inheritance to the tribe of the Reubenites according to their families. Their territory was from Ar on the edge of the valley of the river Arnon, and the city in the midst of the valley, and all the tableland by Medeba, with Heshbon and all its cities which are on the plain, Dibon, Bamuthbal, and Bethbal-meon, Jazer, Kedemoth, Mephaath, Kiriathaim, Sibmah, and the Serithim Charbar on the hill of the valley, Bethpor, Beshgah's slopes, and Beth Jeshimoth, all the cities of the plain, and all the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, whom Moses defeated, along with the leaders of Midian, Evi, Rechem, Sur, Hur, and Reba, the princes of Sihon, who lived in the land. Balaam, south of Beer, the soothsayer, the Israelites also killed with the sword among the rest of their slain. And the border of the Reubenites was the Jordan. This was the inheritance of the Reubenites according to their families, with their cities and villages. Moses gave an inheritance also to the tribe of the Gadites according to their families. Their territory was Jazer and all the cities of Gilead, and half of the land of the Ammonites as far as Or, east of Rabbah. And from Heshbon to Ramoth Mizpah and the Betomim, and from Mahanaim to the city of Debris, and in the valley Beth Harmon, Beth Nimrah, Sukkoth, and Saphron, the rest of the realm of Sihon, king of Heshbon, with the Jordan as a boundary, to the lower end of the Sea of Chinnereth, east of the Jordan. This is the inheritance of the Gadites according to their families, with their cities and villages. And Moses gave an inheritance to the half-tribe of Manasseh. It was allotted to them according to their families. Their region extended from Mahanaim through all Bashan, the entire kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all the towns of Jair, which are in Bashan, 60 cities, and half of Gilead and Ashtaroth and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. These were allotted to the people of Machir, son of Manasseh, for the half of the Machirites according to their families. These are the inheritance which Moses distributed in the plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan, east of Jericho. But to the tribes of Levi, Moses gave no inheritance. The Lord, the God of Israel, is their inheritance, as he told them. The word of the Lord.